When I am driving, lost in my own thoughts, my mind wanders. Though I'm moving from location to location, something takes over and I find it's not really me driving anymore. A kind of meditative spell comes over me. In this state, my mind begins moving far beyond the confines of my vehicle. Can you sit still and gather your thoughts? Are you able to remain unmoving in your mind as your body lies inert? Or are you like me? The more I struggle to calm my thoughts, the more I am pulled in different directions, as if there was a me inside of me separate from the body that hasn't moved. What is this pull toward ideas, concepts, and thoughts that I know that are not my own? I still, but the tempest in my mind struggles to moor itself to something familiar. When you close your eyes, who are you? I am free of this avatar, albeit temporarily. When I close my eyes, my attention can't seem to focus on any one thing. I am immersed within a thought field, a quantum medium that saturates me in waves. Or is it particles? Enter the pendulum state. The imagery and information that passes through my mind is invasive, and the sensation that my soul is moving wars against the realization that the thought field is what is moving and pummeling me with these thoughts. The sight behind my eyes then sees that there is no unknowns, only an I don't know. I can find no secrets unreachable, only I see those who refuse to reach. There is no darkness, only there are those who've lost their light. At the end of my journey, I grew tired. The world had lost its spark. This dungeon of the demiurge was no longer a place I sought to stay. And when I made up my mind that it was time to go, Loki laughed at me. My eyes shut. I cannot control the sensation of being unmoored. I fall overboard as Odysseus sails onward, unaware of his loss. I sink into the wine-dark sea, to the sea bottom where the half-buried ruins of long-forgotten civilizations lie in silent timelessness. I am swept in currents and open my mind to behold Nereids, these daughters of the sea, flowing hair in locks, eyes of pearl and beryl. Suddenly I gasp, sucking in the burning air of the smoldering Troy as a shadow appears in the sun and I watch as a man falls from the sky, trailing feathers. I think of the mighty phoenix, but I see Daedalus instead as he passes over to the other side. I can't be still. I cannot control this wandering. What is this power over me that pulls me in one direction but drags me back into another? For a still moment, a clarity sweeps over my being, but alas, it vanishes. The inside me had almost become aware that it was separate from the outside me. But the Norns cast forth their light, and I returned to my cave, a shadow sitting with others on the wall. What is this incessant feeling? Why can't I remain still? What sorcery has Medusa seen that my thoughts petrify into fears and doubt? In my mind, I am Hathor and Hecate, the hunter and huntress. I swim these mental currents and stop at the pools to peer at my reflections, but see only a serpent of flame and a seraph on fire. I gasp, finding myself as the wicker man set on fire before a crowd of soulless husks who scream for my death. In panic, I summon the Samson in me and escape the wicker pillars before fleeing into the cave of the Sibyl. But she shakes her finger and tilts her smoke-filled lips as Dante escorts me out the door. I stumble out into the light to see Hephaestus holding an ancient clock, its sigils being the events of my life. He showed me the hour of my soul, and I ran. My feet hit the track and a sea of faceless heads roared as I passed Apollo in a foot race on the Olympiad. Apollyon and I passed Hesiod and Theognis as Aristophanes slowed to catch a bird, and Homer let us pass, laughing heartily, which unnerved me. But his humor passed me in the form of Achilles, whose heels beat us all. So I pulled to the side to catch my breath and was surrounded by Egyptians from the Old Kingdom. They pushed unfamiliar objects into my mouth. I tried to struggle, but wrappings held me fast. a cocoon. As I was lowered into a coffin, a wind swept me across a vast sea. In the north, I landed among a strange people as their leader laughed. Loki took me to a forbidden bridge, and we visited Yggdrasil, this mighty tree called Mount Meru in another world. It was there I saw the door, trimmed in elves, knob of anvil, and inlaid with a great hammer. Beautiful Valkyries gazed down at me with interest. I read the runes and stepped toward this Valhalla, but was instantly distracted by a hauntingly deep music. Little people marched and I fell in among them, our band growing in numbers as we followed a piper to the wall, where I fell in among the shadows. Surrounded by shadows on a dark wall they all believed was home. At Bifrost I stood before Loki and we laughed, for he made me to understand the designs of his webs, how he tricked the Overseer. He broke the seals and unleashed Ragnarok once the halls of Valhalla blew the horns, welcoming warriors, bards, and Valkyries to shed their disguises as the Midgard serpent howled. And so I saw the future by looking at the past, and realized that a vision is but a memory intact. My understanding opened, so I looked upon my guide, but the trickster only smiled as the Norns laughed at the sky. On the wings of this laughter I rode upon the back of a cherub, and I did fly. I flew upon the wings of the wind and saw the marvels of Daedalus, this machinery of the sky, to the labyrinth of the Minotaur. The horned one roared, knowing I knew the designs of deceit, and this rage melted the wax of my wings, and I fell from the sky. As Icarus I splashed into the northern sea, and joined a band of Geats in the dens of Grendel. I did what Hrothgar could not do. With an artifact upon the wall I slew the beast that sent kings running, and the distant sons of my son's sons called me Beowulf, the Scion of Sigurd the giant slayer. And others called me Bilgamesh when I traveled far to reach the home of Utnapishtim and to learn of this plant of eternal life. But Nereus told me of the fleece, and as Jason I navigated the unknown seas to the 12 mansions with my trusted Argonauts to find a golden sign and bring meaning to my life. But I've fallen overboard this ship of fools to plunge into a sea of sharks. But I am not food for the wicked and will not cringe before a kraken. I float onward in a current that propels me through this abyss, the silent ruin of an unknown Atlantis passing away beneath me, the deep keeping hold of its dead. And floating through this wine-dark sea, I still heard Loki laugh. In sinking into the black abyss, I suddenly blinked in the sunlit glen amidst an ancient haunt. The secrets of Caer She of the old Celts did I possess. I was Taliesin, the blood of Gaul listening in rapt silence in the hidden grove, for I do not vouchsafe my secrets to slaves. In me they saw a warlock, my spells do shatter the scales on blinded eyes, encircled by enemies who dare not trespass this holy ground that surrounds my feet. A terrible bard whose paths have not known peace, as I played Conan, hacking my way across the wastes of Samarkand, Aladdin searching for a lamp. In the depths of my mindscape I run beside Spartacus as we escape this structured madness, joining with Perseus in rescuing those chained to rocks they have fallen victim to as they hid from their krakens. And in the evening campfire I am Ovid, seeing in nature a poem that was waiting for a pen. I sit in silence with monks, adepts, and sages, and open my eyes to see the Buddha offer me a smile. I sit in this van, moving, traveling from coordinate to coordinate within an avatar whose mind has gone another way. Within the confines of my mind I travel. There is no end to the pool, this tug-of-war that won't let me concentrate. It is when I am moving that I am most alive. When I sit still, it is something that strives to move me. But I see the weakness of this dungeon, the gate that can't be shut. I smile at this riddle that is Ragnarok and await the horns that usher in thereafter, when the mask of Loki is removed as the heavens echo with the trickster's laughter. In both the description box and the comment section below, you will find my personal email. Ask me any questions. You have video ideas, I'd like to hear them. And if you want to donate, all those buttons are accessible below. Playlists and everything you might need, access to the gates to my websites.